Method of business would persist until the formation of the National Wrestling Alliance in 1948. The NWA as a central governing body, with its singular, undisputed world champion, would be absolute and undeniable. This control, combined with the expansion of the interstate highway system, and the inevitable popularity and availability of regional television, would usher in an era of wrestling that was defined by what would come to be known as the territory system. The territory system would dominate wrestling for nearly 4 decades, while the borders, authority, popularity, and obedience of individual NWA territories was in a near constant state of flux. To this day, the impact and influence of these territories is still felt. Each territory had its own signature promoter and star. While it is impossible to cram these characteristics into a static, concrete map, we are damn sure going to try anyway.
So open up your eyes, way before it gets too late. Now one man, there's no way you can. With the streetlights running, don't give a damn. A simple explanation that you'll never find. Sinners never sacrifice. We never leave love alone. Is hate really worth the price? Look at what we've done. Never cared for compromise. Always threatening someone's life, and it feels like the end of the world.
All right, welcome to This Week in Wrestling. Friday Night Pharaoh, right before we got SmackDown and Rampage. But really, the whole wrestling talk is pretty much taken by what happened 2 days ago on Wednesday night. MJF's AEW pipe bomb promo was pro wrestling's line-blurring perfection. But before I'll let you speak on it, we wanted to talk about Double or Nothing, what led into it, right? So they had a fan fest on Saturday. MJF no-shows.
Right.
They're supposedly trying to reach him. He's not picking up the phone. And here we are, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and now MJF. So before we get into it, my thought is at the point, could it be real? Why not? And my point is now, are we opening up, when you talk about a forbidden door, are we talking about Naomi and Sasha Banks just opened the door where people or wrestlers feel like they don't have to honor their contracts? And I'm thinking to myself, well, look at this. And actually, LaGreca and myself were going back and forth on it because I said to LaGreca, as much as you defended Sasha Banks and Naomi, I hope you get that AEW dildo out of your ass. Right? And
Lubricated or not?
with him, probably not lubricated. But defend MJF.
Ooh, man.
So at that point, he wrote to me, we'll see what happens. So right then and there, I said,
Right.
He's got that inside track because he's always blowing con anyway. So I'm thinking, okay.
Chopstick or not?
Probably not.
Damn, this guy's old school rough.
And he swallows dry.
Man, nails.
But nails.
Yeah.
So
Dry.
I'm thinking to myself,
Ow.
is this a work? Then it's not. So then comes Wednesday night. Go ahead.
Well, how much of a percentage do you think of it is real? To me, it comes, like you said, right off the heels of the Banks Naomi thing where the curtain gets torn down somewhat.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Real. What does real mean? Do I think the promo is real? Maybe that's what he's really thinking?
Could be.
Sure. Why not? Could believe that. Absolutely.
Right.
Go ahead.
But the cynic in me, because after all, this is wrestling,
Right.
folks. I think that they wanted to get in on the residue off of Banks and Naomi. It's caused a lot of attention. MJF is the perfect vessel for controversy. It's built in with him. I think that they studied the art of the work in this particular case and have executed it with line blurring perfection.
And
That's what I think.
I will say, let's talk about that.
Well done.
This is, I don't know if Khan had his hands in this, if it is a work, which we're 99.9% sure it is.
I feel that way.
But let's talk about before this pipe bomb, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Double or Nothing comes. They decide to put the MJF Wardlow match up first. And basically, Wardlow
Goldberg, Tim.
squashes him.
Right.
So now you're thinking, now this is brilliant booking. I'm thinking,
This is usually how someone goes bye-bye.
well, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, I've got MJF and say this is real, and he wants to go to the WWE. As the owner, do I keep pushing the MJF envelope?
No.
Or do I let him freeze? Freeze him for a year and a half, ruin his character,
Yeah.
and then go where you want.
Right.
Or do I think, hear me out on this, I'm Tony Khan, I'm the businessman, your booker's back there, you're like, look, man, he's hot, he's still under contract, just let him do his thing, because we need the ratings, right? And let's talk about today's wrestling. It's really about television. It's not really about the house shows anymore. So back to you.
If I were, from that perspective, if I'm Tony Khan, look, when I weigh the two and what MJF does mean to the program, and I know it's not necessarily a popular opinion with some, MJF should have been, if they are having the disputes that they seem to be having, MJF is worth every penny to that company. Every
But you're
penny.
Khan. You don't want to pay him. You want to honor his contract.
Then he
do you freeze him or do you just let him keep going?
Well, if this is real,
we're playing on the real angle right
if this is real, his ass is frozen. Shut up, go home. If this is real, if I really but it's so hard to, and this is the greatest of the lines. It's in here somewhere where he basically, says, you've got the money. You seem to have the money to pay all the WWE cast-offs, but you don't respect me worth an iota. Great line.
Let me read you some lines and weigh in on it. I'm going to read you some lines and weigh in on it, okay?
Yeah.
He opens up to the crowd, says, this is Max Friedman talking, right? It's no longer MJF.
Right.
Everyone was handed a ticket except for me. See, I had to write my own. And oh boy, do I have good penmanship. Because I created moment after moment after moment for this company, and I still get no respect. No one is on my level. No one. Everything I touch turns to gold. There is nothing I can't do. Every time I come out here, I'm not expected to hit home runs. I'm expected to hit grand slams and do that shit on a weekly basis.
That's fantastic. And
Factual?
In a way, yeah, because nobody has the certain approach that he's a specialist in my mind, and he's very special. He's a heel that's irreversibly cool in some way, where some people adore his heelness and some people hate his guts, and he's got a beautiful 50-50 soup going on there. It is fantastic. He is truly, he's got it. And he's a great villain, and he's great on that fucking mic. And he doesn't, like he said in his rant, I don't have to worry about 5-star ratings when I wrestle. He doesn't.
You told me before the show that you thought this might have been the greatest promo in the history of promos.
Because it was the most convincing, most emotional, it was the best executed thing I've ever seen. I was just like, holy shit, this is fantastic. On that level.
I challenge you with this. I challenge you with this.
Is it bigger than Punk's? No.
Well, hold on. I challenge you with this, is that this is almost an unfair comparison. Let's start here.
Sure.
Is he a face or is he a heel?
He's a heel. That people like to cheer.
That people cheer.
Some people like to cheer.
I would say half the 900,000 people like him, right?
Yeah, it's like I said. He's got a really good soup going
So
on
right there, to me, he loses a lot of credibility because he can't get the crowd to hate him. And he tries much harder than everybody else.
But don't you see what happens here? What's happening here is that he's getting a reaction on a insane level from everybody. Cha-ching. He wins. That is absolutely amazing shit going on there.
But you can't.
He's pulling off, and I said to you off air, he has. Some heels have this, and I'm not saying that they're the same, but like a Scott Hall when he was in the NWO, he's a bad guy. It's very clear he's a bad. He says he's a bad guy in half of his shtick, okay? But he's lovable to some. Sure, some might have hated him, but a lot more loved that bad guy. Everyone, and here's the be-all, end-all, reacted to him.
Okay.
He wins.
Hold on.
That's what this
Here's
is.
my challenge. Does anyone cheer The Miz?
No, because The Miz is extra special, truly unlikable kind of guy. You just want to smack him in the
True
face.
heel.
Yeah, he's a true heel.
I challenge you with this.
But
Put The Miz
it doesn't
in
mean he's as an effective a heel as the shit that MJF does, by the way.
Again,
He's not.
It's almost like an unfair
He's damn
fight.
good, though.
The Miz is working with one hand behind his back, where
Sure.
MJF has free
Is
reign.
free reign,
I've
right.
said this before,
Right.
and I challenge this.
He'd be
If he
watered
was in
down.
AEW,
He'd be watered
well,
down with
you
Vince.
put The Miz in AEW,
Right.
You put Edge in AEW and be able to say what he wants to
that'd be
say.
pretty wild.
Put Seth in AEW, say what he wants to say. Right?
That'd be pretty wild.
But that whole gimmick would be gone.
Aye.
Seth,
That's true.
I would say, would tear it up.
Yeah, he probably turned back into
So
Tyler
to be
Black,
fair,
you know.
I look at MJF. I say, no, don't get me wrong. To me, I thought this was one of the great promos of all
You're
time.
the one who called me. You're like, dude.
It is,
And I
but
believed it,
There
and
is,
I affirm it.
But there
It
is
was
some
great.
points that I have to say that MJF is working without a handicap.
Oh, sure. He's not watered down. I get it. We'll see what happens if he ever winds up here. But then again, I got another weird question. If this is supposedly real, who the hell has public fights with a year and a half to go in that contract? What is this going to go on for a year and a half? What kind of script is this?
So I
Have
mean,
you thought about that?
I already-
2024 is a year and a half
I've
away.
already look. There's no doubt in my mind this is a
What?
work.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this.
I think so.
Whoever, and hopefully one day we find out before we're gone, that who had their hand behind this or what people did. Because look, like you said, Saturday no shows gets squashed on Sunday.
Right.
Does the pipe bomb on Wednesday.
Right.
And then on
studied-
the after show, CM Punk comes out and he runs into the crowd.
Limping, selling the injury.
Whatever,
his wounds.
whoever did this.
That was excellent. Excellent.
I'm not an AEW guy.
Neither am I.
This is perfection.
That was fantastic.
This is perfection
That was
from
great.
Saturday to Wednesday.
great.
Perfection.
Great.
Now the question I have for you, and I want to get back into the pipe bomb because we have to discuss, but I wanted to go on something. We're going to go back because I really want to know where this ranks in promos. Okay?
Very
But
interesting.
that being said,
Interesting.
MJF's going to be with the company. Are they going to go with the angle where Khan is going to play the Mr. McMahon character?
It's not Mr.
But
McMahon.
that's where this thing will fall apart. Exactly. And this is what I fear is going to
hey,
happen
check out
here.
that bicep. You see that bicep?
there you go.
He's a bad mofo.
I feel this is where this is going. And
Yeah.
we could take one of the great promos of all time
Yeah.
and ruin it.
I'm glad you said that it's one of the great promos of all time.
Oh, without a doubt.
I so agree with you. Now, where does it rank? That's a great question.
You rank it.
You know what I always do with this shit? There's subdivisions in promos.
I'm gonna throw them. I'm gonna throw.
So,
I'm gonna
where
throw
does it rank
promos
in
out.
pipe bomb promos?
Well, hold on. I'm gonna
It's
throw.
wa-
I'm
it's
gonna
right
throw
at the
what
top.
I consider the great promos of all time, and tell me where this ranks.
Sure.
Are you
Go
ready?
ahead. They're going to be so different from each other. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm anxious. Hit it.
Hey yo, the NWO first promo.
Oh, you know who I am. What you don't know is what I'm doing here. Oh man.
Where does it? Does it beat that?
That's Penthouse. That's a Penthouse promo. That is a ground.
Hulk Hogan turns heel at WCW.
That was insane. That's another Penthouse promo. That's way at the top.
Okay. The pipe bomb from your friend Phil.
Oh, Phil Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's way.
So
up there.
far this is already fallen down already.
They're
right?
all. What's falling? Oh, you mean compared to what you just
Yes,
mentioned?
right.
Well,
That-
here's the disadvantage also that this promo has.
Oh,
This-
see, now you're saying this has a
I'll
disadvantage.
tell-
Okay.
Only as we sit here, and you'll understand in a second why. This promo has a disadvantage because it hasn't had time age it like a fine wine.
Well done.
You know, because the things that you're bringing up have aged so beautifully, and
So-
I think that this will.
Right.
And notice also that some of these promos that you're mentioning are from companies who try to fight Vince and eventually folded. So let's see how the wine ages, and I think it's going to turn out pretty good.
Let me give you a few more.
It's still pretty good.
Wined with kings and queens and dined on pork and beans.
Oh, geez, Lord, good God, yeah, that's another one.
Does this beat that?
Wow.
So far, you've chosen everything but this, and I'm giving you, and I'm asking you, what does it
I'm
beat
not
it?
sure. That one's at least got me fuzzy and wondering. I really did love this promo. My God, this was a great promo.
Does it beat the Dusty Rhodes promo that I just gave you?
No, you can't beat the dream.
Okay, so far this hasn't. How about?
But it's still in the top 10.
So far, I'm giving you promos, and this hasn't beat any
not
of them
those.
yet. Okay?
Not those. But there
Don't throw rocks at a man with a machine gun. Roddy Piper.
Wow. Do you realize who you're naming here?
Can
you give
you
this time
said to me,
age?
you said to me, where does this rank?
Well, again, it's because it's fresh that I think we have to let time answer where it's
But so
lie.
far, considering the timing, this is not
when you
compared
start,
to those.
well, look at the names you're dropping here.
I'm giving you a list of all different people, too.
I'm going to help you here. I'm actually going to answer your point. You got Hulk Hogan. You got Hey-Yo. You got all these. You got Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This is Max Friedman here. That doesn't, no.
It's a great point.
Of course not. And Phil does belong in those, but it's a different time period. I think what
I
MJF
hate you,
just
Hulk.
did,
I hate you, Hulk Hogan.
That was absolutely
WrestleMania 5.
effing incredible. Are you kidding me? Just the one where Hulk, you're bleeding was enough for me. What are you talking about?
So again, as
he
much
had to wear the crucifix that night.
as much as we love this
this
promo,
was fantastic.
Okay.
Can we at least put it in the top 25 promos of all time?
Hold on.
I think it might fit somewhere.
So hear my point on this. Pharaoh, weigh in on this.
This is rough.
A lot of thought process here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aspirin. Ow.
Desperate times in wrestling.
Sure.
In a lot of ways.
For this time period. This is
for
killer.
fans like us,
This is killer.
we want this promo.
Absolutely.
We needed this promo.
Yeah.
Right? So are we making this promo better than it is because we want it so bad?
Because of this time period, you might have a point. Again, we got to see how this time period is going to be judged over the years. Honestly, I mean that's the only way you can do this. I still say it was a great promo. We both love it, and it's gonna for this time period. Can you name me a more killer promo? I'm not so sure. Right?
Very hard.
There you go. So I guess for this time period, it's a penthouse in my mind as far as promos go.
No, make sure he hoards all that money. He's talking about Khan.
Right.
So he can give it all to his new ex-WWE guys.
Ooh.
He keeps bringing in that can't lace my goddamn boots.
Yep.
Hey, boss, would you treat me better if I was an ex-WWE guy? Maybe you don't get it, man. Here's the problem with you, boss. You're in a position of power in a wrestling company when the only position you should be assuming is behind the guardrails.
And then, of course, he calls him out. I don't want to wait until 2024. You don't want to listen to me, but you allow it to make it a little easier for you, Tony. I want you to fire me. That was great. But the best is what you didn't see is when he called Tony a fucking mark. My God. This was blistering, dude.
But so
Blistering.
you mentioned earlier,
I
he
love
mentions WWE guys. You were talking to me earlier before this even happened that you felt AEW was really just trying to start pushing the WWE agenda, right? Can you
Right.
share with the fans what you thought about that?
Well, we're pushing. Well, I feel like they're copying from the WWE, but they obviously always have, whether you want to believe it or not. Why would he pluck so many people from their damn roster? This to me is just, again, I feel like this, like Wardlow's Goldberg. I mean, everything is like taken from the past in a lot of ways. When you
But
see
isn't that
how-
always with anything?
I guess, but this to me is really, it feels like WCW all over.
Well, you were saying also that
Until
you
I
felt
saw what I
that they
saw with
saw the
MJF.
attention of Naomi and Sasha Banks,
Yeah,
and they
they
said,
want-
hey,
yeah.
look, let's capitalize, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And I believe, again, that they studied the art of a work, and they have executed it brilliantly. They really have.
Here is where, if there's one flaw with this promo, and
Okay.
when I mean flaw, if the idea was to make people believe that this was real, like we said, it was flawless. There is one flaw.
All right.
When he calls out the boys in the back,
Right.
and he basically, I don't see the quote here, and I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay. But I
he
do remember him calling him
He
out.
calls out the boys in the back.
Because they want his
If
spot.
they want his spot.
Right.
If this was real,
Yeah.
in any way, somebody from the back
Yeah.
would have came out.
Absolutely.
Somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not going back to that locker room either. Because you're going to get the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really are. You called out everybody. This is pro wrestling still.
And let's
They're
talk about
they're gonna
FTR.
fuck you up.
FTR doesn't seem like two shy guys, right?
No, we
They
already
seem-
know they are with
Right.
the Bret Hart incident.
So I would see FTR coming out there
Oh,
and
they
just
knocked
beating
the
the shit out of him,
stuffings
right?
out of them. Absolutely.
Because again, guess what? How do you make yourself in a company? Go protect the owner of the company,
Right,
right? So,
right.
You would go out
Although
there.
it was cool when Punk came out, though.
Again,
like that, right?
whoever wrote that
was great.
did a very good
Well-
job.
Well thought out.
But where do they go from here?
Right.
Where do they go from here?
I don't know.
It's got to be
But that's
MJF
you want to be curious.
against the company.
Right.
Right? Now,
would think.
look, in storyline, if it's fake, he's now made everybody his enemy, right? Because he called all the boys in the back, all the ex-WWE guys.
You think with the wild cheers, all of a sudden Tony Khan's like, this is my opportunity. I'm the evil Mr. Khan.
Well, this is...
And MJF turns face, and everybody just loves him anyway because he's going against the boss.
Jimmy, this has been in the making.
McMahon light all
this
over?
has been in the making.
That's lame.
Khan has been dying. Look,
Yeah,
the ultimate
I agree.
mark. Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Look, I don't like using the word mark. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Again,
It fit though when MJF called him that.
I'll say this to fans of the show who graciously watch us every week. Thank you. I don't understand anybody who would sit on a dais, no matter what you do. Now, a wrestler is different. I get it. But not even a wrestler. If you have fans that want to watch you, want you to sign autographs, or even if you're like some of the shows or people we have met in the past, how do you call a fan a mark? A mark is a dirty word to my right. You should just call him a fan.
Right.
I don't get the mark or
MJF called
fanboy.
everybody marks, and they were all cheering. I'm just saying.
But it's a wrestling gimmick.
No,
right?
I know you don't. I understand why you don't like the term, but I thought it was hilarious that they were like, "Yeah, he's insulting us, dude." There was some people clapping while he's insulting the shit out of them. They were loving it. They were like,
Again,
"Insult me more."
We
It's
are not in a
hilarious.
position where everybody's looking for something.
Right.
The older wrestling fan who grew up on old school wrestling, and then pretty much it's the basis of our father show, our parent show, Monte The Pharaoh. They like old school wrestling. They like the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
They're looking for this. Here's the thing: kids aren't looking for that. Kids aren't looking for a guy cursing and dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah, probably not if you're getting with the sensitive. But I wanted to ask you though before we get out of here, do you think that the Cody Rhodes departure from AEW may have opened the door for any part of the realness? By the way, this question is based in potentially the realness part. Do you think that Cody leaving and the shit he went through with Tony Khan and the dispute over money and these guys coming in and getting paid, it seems to be similar to MJF's complaints in some ways. Do you think that it, on a realness factor, maybe some of that spilled over to allow this MJF thing to happen?
So I'm not so sure I believe in the money problem with Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
What I believe is basically this. I think I've said it before, but I'll make it quick. Cody Rhodes found a guy who had lots of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And was a fan. Basically, I'll go back, time repeating itself. Cody Rhodes is going to be the
Successor.
Dustin Reynolds, right? Right? Dusty Rhodes, right?
Right.
And Khan was going to be his Jim Crockett. Little did Cody Rhodes know
Yeah.
that Tony Khan really wants to be the Vince McMahon.
Absolutely.
And he wants to be a wrestler. See, I'm not so sure Vince wanted to be a wrestler.
Right.
I think Vince became a wrestler because it was needed during the Monday Night Wars. In this case, Tony all of a sudden believed his own, smelt his own shit.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I can see
And all of a sudden Cody said, look, if I'm going to have to listen to you,
that. Right.
I'm going to go listen to a guy that really knows what he's talking about, and
Yep.
I might as well be on Fox
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
on pay-per-views in front of 90,000 instead of pay-per-views in front of 5,000.
Right. And I can come out of a platform on WrestleMania and have the best match of the entire weekend with Seth
Absolutely.
Rollins.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good move.
Do I think that MJF thinks he deserves more money? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think at some point that Tony Khan is becoming fiscally responsible to his business? Because yet again, I had a conversation with someone earlier in the week, and they were talking about Tony Khan having all this money and the success of AEW. And I said, let's be fair. If AEW was Tony Khan's only source of income,
Oh, he ain't spending that kind of
well,
money.
not just that, I would consider AEW a failure.
Right.
Because they're not making money.
Right.
They're in the red.
Right. Right.
That's facts.
Right. And they have the Hardy Boys beating the Young Bucks. their tag team Hardy Boys. Hey, bring in the Hardy Boys and have them in their 40s beat the Young Bucks. That's brilliant.
Because,
What are you doing?
well, because he's making the same mistakes Bischoff did.
That's what it feels like.
He wants ratings,
Yeah.
right? And he's going to make
Yeah.
ratings off the back of the WWE
Can we
guys.
give Bischoff credit, though? At least Bischoff got that shit down way better than what, Tony Khan thinks he's doing.
Listen, if
know?
this promo is an example of what's in the future for AEW, this is fantastic.
That's fantastic.
I just don't think they're going to be able to sustain it.
No, I don't think so either.
And for the wrestling fan, I'm praying
We're wrong.
the 1%, no, the 1% chance that this is real.
Right.
How great would that be?
Oh, man. That would be so awesome. I love the fact that we're still wondering, though, just a little bit.
Credit to MJF.
Or did they do their job? He's great.
There is
He's
that chance.
He's great. And he belongs to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast because he's from Long Island.
That's right.
Hey, that's
All right,
right.
real quick before we cut out, Bray Wyatt show up on Hell in a Cell.
No.
Definitive no?
You're making me waver now when you ask me that. Wouldn't that be something?
Definitive
Wait a
no.
second. Is that Bray?
No, that could have been Bray.
That might be Bray.
He might be listening.
Run!
So definitive no, Pharaoh.
Oh, man, that's rough. Why? Are there rumors flying around? You know me. I don't pay attention to the Quebec
He
sheet.
tweeted that
did?
just when you expect me.
Oh, but isn't that a little like, all of a sudden, here I am! Nah, he's going to wait. He's going to do something.
All right,
Wow,
so no
it is
Bray
Hell
Wyatt.
in this Cell, though. He's showing up.
Well, now
Is it The Fiend or is it him? Do we get him?
if I
I
was
think we
writing
should
it,
get him.
I would get
Let's get him.
old school
The
Bray
hat,
Wyatt.
the swamp. Can we go back to the hat and the swamp?
I
and-
would definitely take
and
a
chasing
look at that.
flies and all that. Can we
Absolutely.
please have that? That would be great. Except
Absolutely.
that, you know what, though? And it is kind of sad to me that Luke Harper is not here because I would really have loved to have seen the Wyatt family. And you can't have it without Luke. But you could. But that would mean they have to bring back Braun Strowman
There you go.
to make 3 with Rowan. What do you think of that? Do you think that if he comes back, would you like to see the Wyatt family again? Well, who's left of the? I would.
Well, here's one guy they shouldn't bring back, Johnny Elite, because Johnny Elite is with AEW and he's getting squashed 2 weeks in a row. So
Leave Johnny Elite alone.
just
What
got
do you mean
squashed
he's getting
by
How he looks like
Rusev.
He looks like Jim Morrison. How are they squashing? He got squashed by Miro.
Squash.
Johnny, going back to Impact and be Johnny Impact. What is
All
this?
right, enjoy Rampage,
Oh,
enjoy
Johnny.
SmackDown, and enjoy Hell in a Cell. This is Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh. You've been watching This Week in Wrestling, and until next week in wrestling, later.